Brotherhood Ballad and Rombough show is back again for another week of college football. Parody, parody, parody. What can I say? College football and the NFL, we've seen teams beat teams that we did not expect to lose. We have no undefeateds in the NFL. We'll get to that in the next episode. But in this episode, college football, we had a lot of upsets this past Saturday, and we have a lot of movement. We've seen two top 10 teams fall out of the rankings. The first time that's happened since 1968 or 1986, excuse me. Dad, we'll start with you. What was this Saturday like watching it as a viewer?
Well, it was really exciting, Justin. Thanks for inviting me again. But the one real shocker, of course, was the UCLA Penn State game there in Pasadena, there at the Rose Bowl. And that was just incredible because Penn State was heavily favored. UCLA's been struggling all year, 0-4, had to change coaches and that. But but UCLA played with reckless abandon and did very well on both O and D, was able to pull it out 42-37 there. And the fans didn't storm the field or anything. They were pretty guarded, so they didn't storm it, but they had a very enthusiastic crowd. They drew better than I thought, but UCLA really did a number. And it was Rick Neuheisel's son is the new coach there, and he got carried off the field and everything. So it's pretty exciting for UCLA, and it really shocked the world because that's the first time an 0-4 team or worse has beaten a top 10 team since 1986 when UTEP beat BYU there in El Paso. And that one of the things about that game, Justin, is the mostly the news media are not supposed to be cheering in the press box. They got to show a certain level of professionalism. And the UTEP or the El Paso sports reporters were making a lot of noise in the press box back then. And they allowed it, because of the rarity of doing that. I don't know if the LA beat reporters in the Rose Bowl were making a lot of noise, but it sure was a major upset. Again, it's only happened 5 times in 100 years, and twice in the last 40 years, and that. So very rare. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, there's been upsets we've talked about all year. There's field stormings. We've already seen 6 or 7 field stormings. So major upsets, but it was incredibly exciting and shakes up the Big Ten and that. And it's scrambles it up even more. Penn State lost a tough one to Oregon the week before, and I think there's two things there. Is the jet lag. It's 3 hours to go from Pennsylvania to 3 time zones to LA, so that probably has an effect. And also, Penn State may have underestimated UCLA because one of the rules of sport I learned back is to never underestimate your opponent, never overestimate yourself. And so that might have happened with Penn State, but I'm sure they'll won't overlook anybody again if that was the case. So I could go on all day about that, but I'm sure you guys want to have your opinions. So go ahead and whatever you guys want to talk about.
Well, Alex, we'll go to you. Now, we both predicted the upset, the other upset that did happen. Texas falls to Florida in the swamp. We both called it. We knew the swamp was going to be rocking. And I'll have a thought on Arch Manning, but your reaction after that game.
Yeah, before I get into that, I just wanted to just a quick side note here. I'm wearing the Cleveland jersey today because LeBron decided to turn his off-season shenanigans into a Netflix documentary once again. LeBron, grow up. Michael would never do this. There's a reason why you're not the GOAT. I'm still wearing your jersey, and nobody cares that you're repping a Hennessy sponsorship. Anyways, or take your talents back to Cleveland to end your career like the kid from Akron. Anyways, to get back to the question, Justin, yeah, I mean, I could have seen this coming from a mile away. DJ Lagway at home. Did you see the Tim Tebow pregame speech? Oh, after I saw that, it was raps. If you've got Tebow hyped up like that, he still looks like he could play quarterback. He's huge. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know we predicted it before, but once I saw that Tebow pregame speech, I knew it was raps. Like, Arch Manning is such a joke. Like, if I was Peyton and Eli, I would shut off the TV because those are generational Hall of Fame first ballot quarterbacks. Eli Manning owns Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning has the most MVPs in NFL history. In fact, only one behind or one in front of Aaron Rodgers. But besides the fact, Arch Manning is not living up to the Manning name. And you certainly can't blame Texas for that. with the coaching staff that Texas has, the players they have at their skill positions, this ultimately falls on Arch Manning, and I just want to give a big shout out to DJ Lagway.
Yeah, DJ Lagway last year, he showed a lot of promise, but this was kind of his year to prove it. And obviously, Florida had a couple hiccups to start the year, but one of the toughest schedules, them along with Oklahoma. And Arch Manning coming into this season as the preseason Heisman favorite. I think it's very easily can be said that he is the worst preseason Heisman favorite of the 21st century. Going back and looking at all of the guys that were favored, I think he's just the most disappointing. I mean, Texas going from number one to unranked in the span of 7 weeks is something that nobody really expected to happen. And I think the expectations were just too high. He's only started a couple games coming into this season, and I think you just got to give him time to develop. He's not, this isn't saying that he's going to have a horrible career. He could turn things around, but I think the expectations were too high. And I think Texas has a lot of things that they need to work on moving forward, as well as Penn State. I think James Franklin, this was tough after he was getting hate losing to Oregon, and this you can't come back from this. One of the things that Penn State hung their hat on was they had 40 consecutive wins against unranked opponents. And the games that they were supposed to win, they always won. But the games that they were underdogs in, they would normally lose, normally top 10 matchups. But James Franklin, I think, Dad, what do you think the panic meter should be for Penn State fans? All the way 10 out of 10, or do you think there's a little bit of hope left in Happy Valley?
Well, maybe not quite 10, but eight. Yeah, seven or eight at least, because it was tough enough losing to Oregon, but to unravel like that, lose to UCLA when they were 0 and 4 is going to be a grave concern because they're already, with Ohio State and Oregon and everybody, Michigan and all, and it's tough enough as it is. And they had such high expectations with their running backs coming back and everything was going along pretty smooth. But now this is a major derailment. So, we'll see how they go in Happy Valley if they can rally back. But and he's a good coach. He did like I talked about it before in Vanderbilt and that. So I don't see them unraveling, but we'll see how it goes.
Can I chime in really quick?
Yeah.
So I don't think it should be called Happy Valley anymore. I don't think it's looking too happy over there. Also, I saw today that Penn State would have to pay out James Franklin over $50 million to buy out his contract. So essentially, they're screwed because either you're screwed with James Franklin or you're screwed without him. Um, because they're going to take a huge hit if they pay him out, or they can let it ride out and continue to let his system derail in front of their eyes. Um, I think Drew Aller might be the most overrated quarterback in the Big Ten. I'm sorry, Willie Pete, but Drew Aller provides nothing. He's like the Jalen Hurts of the NFL. He's a check down master. Um, Side note for the later episode, but for the first time in Jalen Hurts' NFL career, they let him throw for more than 40 passing attempts last week. But we'll save that for the next episode. But yeah, Drew Aller, I mean, he's got to go. Like he's just not it. Like he can't win big games. Like, yeah, you've got James Franklin who can't do it either. But at what point does it come down to the players over the coaches? Like the players are the ones that are on the field executing the plays, and they have to be able to make, audibles, do certain things on the field to get their team to win. So at what point does the hate turn from James Franklin to Drew Aller in the offense?
Yeah, I mean, Drew Aller coming into the season, he had a pretty much unanimous grade as a first round quarterback if he decides to come out. Or I think this might be his last year of eligibility. But anyways, he I think has shown scouts that that first round grade could very well be a misstep by the
Or
scouts
even the
previously.
UDFA.
Oh yeah.
He looks horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think this quarterback class coming into the season was touted as supposed to be really good. Klubnik's been disappointing. Nussmeier's been very disappointing for LSU. They have a huge game coming up this weekend. We'll get to that week 7 slate at the end, but something I did want to run by you guys. We have, I believe there's 18 undefeated teams left with Alex, your team, North Texas in
There you go, Mean Green.
we have other group of 5 teams: Memphis, Navy, UNLV. We also have Oregon. We have the big dogs, Miami, Oregon, Georgia Tech, Indiana, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Ohio State. Of all those teams, if you had to pick three of them, Dad, we'll go to you and then Alex. Of those 18 teams, Ole Miss, which three would you have to bet on to go undefeated if you had to pick three?
Miami, I would go for one of them. They're already ranked like um
Two
for or two, I think. Yeah.
behind
And
Ohio State.
yeah. And the other one I'm gonna go with oh man, it's gonna be tough to do. And Texas Tech still undefeated too.
Yep.
I might go with them and possibly well, let's see. Ohio State probably would be the but I've got 15 actually undefeated,
Yeah,
Justin.
I figured it was something like that, but
Yeah, 15.
uh,
I got the whole list, but you pretty much rattled them off. But those three I would go. But if you guys got other opinions, go for it.
Yeah, so one second here, Justin, you can go. I'm just pulling something up here.
I think, I mean, we're gonna see Miami, I think, has the easiest schedule. The rest of their teams combined, the records that they're facing is like 17 and 16, so they're facing cupcakes kind of the rest of the way. So I think Miami's gonna be a great pick. If I had, I mean, I think Indiana, Oregon, one of those teams is going to be out this weekend as they play each other. If I had to bet on that one of those group of five going undefeated, Memphis, I really do like. Oklahoma, it's going to be super hard for them to stay undefeated. Texas is favored in the Red River shootout this weekend. So my picks would have to be Miami. I'm going to go with Memphis. I do like Ole Miss, but I don't think they'll be undefeated. And I'll go with Memphis, Miami. I really do like Texas Tech, so I'll take Texas Tech as well.
My three probably the U, the Aggies, uh, and the Mean Green.
Texas A&M, you think will run the table?
Yeah, go Aggies. I like them. I
I
like what they've got
mean,
cooking.
they're gonna face it. The SEC this year, I really love mostly about with college football in general. There's not that one dominant team. Last year, Ohio State with the loss to Michigan, excluding that, they were dominant pretty much the entire year. But I really like the parity, as I was mentioning earlier. Just all these teams in the SEC. And Big Ten, we have the powerhouses, but Ohio State and Oregon are pretty much right there neck and neck. You can't really call one um, extremely better than the other. They're right there. So, mentioning that, we do have probably the deepest conference in terms of how close all the teams are, the Big 12. Every week, as my dad likes to do his Big 12 rankings, but I'll have to chime in this week and give mine. And then, Dad, if you have any different ones, you can chime in as well. So, number one, I
Okay.
think it has to go to BYU. Bayer Bachmeier, their freshman quarterback, over 1,000 yards on the season, 7 touchdowns, only one interception. Texas Tech is right there. Those are the pretty much the top of the Big 12. And ASU, I think, has to come in at number three. They had that loss earlier in the season to Mississippi State, but they've rebounded well. And I very well think that they could cause some trouble in Utah this week in Salt Lake City. That'll be coming up later. Cincinnati at four, Arizona at five, Baylor, Kansas, Houston, TCU. 10 will be Utah, and then the bottom four, I have those all kind of grouped together. You can kind of rank them however you want. Obviously, Oklahoma State is at the bottom, unfortunately, with Mike Gundy being fired. And Dad, your thoughts on that Big 12 ranking?
Did you
Well,
skip Iowa State?
Oh, Iowa State. I forgot to add them in there, but Iowa State, I would slot in right above ASU. I have them at number three, actually. Thanks, Alex.
I was like, what the? Let's go. This is like a Nick Wright list we got going here or something.
okay. Yeah, I mean, there's so many opinions on that as far as how the rankings, but I've got let's see. I'll go down here. Let's see. Utah. Okay, I'm gonna go Texas Tech first, BYU second, TCU third, Kansas fourth, Cincinnati fifth, Iowa State sixth, Utah seventh, Arizona 8th, Tempe 9th, Baylor 10th, UCF 11th, Houston 12th, K State 13, CU 14, West Virginia 15, and Oklahoma State 16.
Wow.
Wow.
Big 12 is it's crazy how
Hmm.
the tables can turn each week in that division. Fafita, I mean, we have to mention it with that great victory over Oklahoma State. 5 touchdowns. He's only 11 touchdowns away from becoming the all-time career touchdown passing leader, surpassing the likes of Nick Foles, Willie Tuatama, a lot of the Arizona greats. So the
Super
Big
Bowl
12
winner.
is it's the fun conference. I feel like after dark, they've kind of overtaken the Pac-12 after dark, how they used to have fun back in the day with that. So the Big 12 definitely is the fun conference for true college football fans. I mean, I have to give a shout out to Nico Iamaleava and his performance at Penn State. He was running all over the field. I know I had my opinions about UCLA early in the season, but to beat Penn State when you're I think it was like 26 and a half point underdogs. It's a great job. New Heisel. He looked like a 12-year-old, but I mean, he's doing a great job being an interim coach for them. So I remember his dad even coaching them. So it's fun to see it's still in the family. And I think we can switch gears right into the Heisman Five. Every week on the Brotherhood Ballad and Rombough show, we'll do our Heisman Five. I'll start us off first. I think these two guys could be pretty much tied at number one. We have Dante Moore and Ty Simpson, respectively. I think they're the best quarterbacks in the game right now. Coming in at number three, a D2 transfer at Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss is my third in the Heisman, and Ahmad Hardy for Missouri. He's looking like the best running back in college football. Missouri has a huge test this week as they're hosting Alabama. Five, you can't forget about John Mateer, even though he is injured. And my honorable mention, I think the combo of Carson Beck and Ruben Bain at Miami, they have to be mentioned. Miami is looking like the best team in college football, even though they got hosed out of that number one spot. I think the AP poll is a joke. Alex, you can probably give us your thoughts because I think we agree. I think it's an absolute joke, but that's my Heisman five. Alex, we'll go to you.
So, after this week's of games, I kind of have a 1 and 2 tie for like my top two spots, that being Dante Moore and Carson Beck. I think right now those are the two best quarterbacks in college football. With Mateer being hurt, I did see something that Mateer might even be back as early as this weekend, which might be big, but I don't know how the thumb and everything is going to be healed. So that kind of depends. But at solid third right now, I still have Ty Simpson. I think that win over Georgia and everything and how Alabama's been looking catapulted him to that third spot in my opinion, for now at least. At four, I still have Jeremiah Smith. I think he's a top two wide receiver in college football right now. I think it's fair to say. Um, and then some people have been liking Julian Sayin, which I think that's a little far-fetched at the moment. But a little note for my gamblers out there. If you guys are looking for some good odds, I know that Fernando Mendoza is at plus 1400 right now, which is some pretty good odds considering how well Indiana's playing. But yeah, um, Trinidad Chambliss is also kind of an honorable mention. But yeah, those are kind of like my top four for sure.
Dad, how about you?
Carson Beck, Dante Moore, Jeremiah Smith, Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, Julian Sayin, Diego Pavia out of Vanderbilt, and John Mateer out of Oklahoma. And that Chambliss, he's with Ole Miss. Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's so many good players in there. Just so I'd list them all.
Yeah, I mean, I think another player that we have to mention, Josh Hoover, TCU, he's been having a great year. The Big 12 is just so stacked at the quarterback position. They don't have the flashy names like Dante Moore, Sayin, but the Big 12 just has a lot of really solid quarterbacks. And if you guys don't have any thoughts on week six, we can look ahead to this week seven slate. Friday night, Alex, North Texas. This is their biggest game in years. They're hosting number 24 ranked South Florida. Will the what was their mascot?
They're the mean green. That's like an eagle, basically. It's a bird of some sort.
Are the Mean Green gonna beat the
Guess
Bulls?
what,
Bulls.
baby? We're
They're the
coming
Bulls.
because it's at Daku Stadium under the lights in Denton, baby, and they're wearing their all black uniforms. It's gonna be a hell of a game. I can't wait for Drew Mestmeyer to cook. I've been I woke up on Monday morning and I knew that it was USF hate week. So I'm all in. I can't wait for this game. It might be the best like non-Power 5 game of the week. I
Now,
couldn't be more excited.
now, Dad, at the beginning of the season, before the season actually occurred, you predicted that there was going to be 30 field stormings. Do you have a number, an up-to-date number on how many there's been?
No, every time I pull it up, it says two, and there's been way more than two. But I imagine I might get close to 30 because you know how nutty those students, they watch each other on the TV and they think, well, if they're running out, we can run out too. And that's why 30 is not an unreasonable number, so it might happen.
I just bring that up because North Texas, it could be a field storming in Denton. I'm sure we'll see one, if not two, this weekend. An opportunity that would be absolutely massive in Champaign as Illinois, the Fighting Illini, host Ohio State. Ohio State's almost two touchdown favorites. I think Illinois, if you're going to show signs of life after that Indiana blowout, you got to compete at home. You can't get blown out on your home turf. Bama and Mizzou, this is an
Yeah.
SEC showdown.
It's in
Probably would
Columbia
be the game
too.
of the week. What?
It's in Columbia too.
It's 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 Mizzou's probably their one of their biggest games in years. I mean, they had that bowl game win over Ohio State, but Ohio State had a lot of players that entered the draft in the portal. So I think Alabama's rolling, but Mizzou and Perbula and Hardy, they have an opportunity to shock the world. I think it definitely would have been game day would have been in Columbia if it weren't for the game I'm mentioning now, Indiana and Oregon. This is the first time Indiana's been ranked in the top 10 in back-to-back seasons in their school history. Game day will be in Eugene. If Lee Corso was there, I'm sure he would be riding off on a motorcycle with wearing the duck head. But Oregon, the fans are going to be rabid. It's one of the Autzen is one of the loudest stadiums in the country. Do you both have the Ducks, or are we going to see a Mendoza Heisman moment potentially, or Ducks all the way?
No way. I've got Ducks all the way, especially it being in Eugene. I don't think there's any chance in hell that Indiana comes out with a win.
Yeah, so same here. It's in Eugene, it's almost impossible to win there. It's so tough to win there.
Now we're going to see a lot of Arizona fans and a lot of BYU fans because they do travel quite a bit. I think Brent Brennan wanted this one to be a sellout. He wanted all the fans to show up to this game. Arizona, this would be a huge victory. I have BYU as the number one ranked team in the Big 12, so this is an opportunity for Arizona to show what they can do. They're not going to be able to face Texas Tech or Utah, but Arizona, do they have a shot, Alex? Do you think they have a chance here?
So I think I mean it being in Tucson's, helpful. BYU's only 1.5 point favorites. It's gonna be under the lights. Well, it's 7 p.m. Is that Central Time? So does it really start at like 4 or like 5:30 or whatever?
At
Five.
five in Tucson.
Yeah. So I think this is a career defining moment for Brett Brennan. If they, if Utah comes to them and Arizona wins, I think that should have Arizona as a ranked team. I think I think it's going to be a very tough game for them to win. But if Fafita comes ready to play and that offensive line can keep the pocket open for him to have enough time to scramble and throw those passes, he's a super athletic quarterback. He's got a lot of agility. And I think if they can keep him away from getting sacked, I think there's a chance that we see multiple field stormings, and that would definitely be a field storm. So. That was actually something that I wanted to bring up. My upset of the week is BYU losing to Arizona.
I love it. Dad, if you had to give us three keys to that game for Arizona to win, what would they be?
Well, defense. Danny Gonzalez is really good coordinators. He improved our stats and defense very much because last year we got creamed because our D wasn't very good, but he's built us up, and this is our chance. He's gonna have to be lights out on D. Those guys are gonna have to be going after the ball all the time and go as hard as they can. And you're right. Alex, about Noah's got to be good in that. But the lines that BYU have are so big on O&D. They have huge lines, so they're kind of like Iowa State. So we've got to be ready for that. And both sides of the ball have to be perfect just to have a chance.
Yeah, it'd have to be a perfect game from both sides. No
Yeah.
mistake, no turnovers, no costly 15-yard penalties, nothing like that.
Now, people could argue that this is the perfect rivalry, but we have the Red River Shootout, Oklahoma coming in at number 6 in the country despite John Mateer's injury. They had a blowout victory against Kent State last week, and Texas coming off a huge upset loss to Florida. It's at home. Texas is favored by 1.5, I think. And
You're
I
right.
mean, Oklahoma with Hawkins, he didn't look super great against Kent State. I don't really know which way are you guys leaning for this rivalry game.
You want to go first, Alex?
Yeah. So I think actually Oklahoma's 1.5 point favorites. So here I only see this game going one of two ways, in my opinion, from what I've seen from both these teams this season. Either either it's gonna be a shootout, because depending on Mateer's status, if Mateer doesn't play, I think it's gonna be a shootout and watch it come down to a field goal winning opportunity from either team. If Mateer wins, I think Oklahoma's gonna win by like 10 plus points. I think Texas is so out of limbo with with what's going on inside the locker room and like things like that. Arch Manning is like we discussed earlier. He looks like he belongs at a NAI college for quarterback. Like he's just not. I mean, I never understood the hype. I don't understand the hype now, but in either scenario, I favor Oklahoma, regardless of Mateer playing or not.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, isn't that game in Dallas?
I think it
Yeah,
is.
it's a neutral site.
Yeah, because they put that there every year because it's part of the state fair,
It's
and
at the
it's
Cotton Bowl Stadium.
right. Yeah, and it's midway between Norman and Austin, so it's a
Yep.
neutral site game. So half the stadium will be one, and half it'll be jam packed like it always is. I think Oklahoma can squeeze it out. Uh, Texas is having some struggles and all with the offense and that, so I think Oklahoma can win it, but it'll be close.
A two-pack of Big 12 games. We have Iowa State going to Boulder and playing Colorado, and ASU going on the road to play Utah. Of these ranked teams going on the road, which one do you like better in a potential ruining the home environment and ruining the home crowd and but not really an upset for Iowa State because they are favored, but ASU potentially ruining what could be Whittingham a last game against ASU. So of those two teams, who do you think has a better chance of winning?
Yeah, I had some thoughts on that Iowa State Colorado game. Um, I think it might be a little bit tougher than some people think for Iowa State to rebound off this loss because they go from Ames to Cincinnati, which is a time zone switch. Then they come back from Cincinnati, which changes the time zone. Then they go to another time zone on the road to play Colorado. Now, as we've seen from Colorado this season, a lot of disappointment, a lot of shakeup in the QB room in terms of who's starting, who gets playing time, and whatnot. Um, Now, Iowa State is 2.5 point favorites, but personally, I just I would be shocked if they do lose this game, but I do think it might be closer than a lot of people think. I do like the 2.5 point spread, and I know Dion has talked about how it seems like he might be still dealing with some blood clot issues, and so I'm not sure how his health is. So I'm not sure like what his coaching status is in terms of their day-to-day practice and their walkthroughs and everything like that. Ultimately, I have Iowa State coming out on top, and if Dion is going through some health problems, I hope he can get better because you don't want to see stuff like that happen. Blood clots are dangerous, and I hope that he's can heal well and things like that. Um, Secondly, something I wanted to touch on is the Iowa-Wisconsin game. It's actually homecoming in Camp Randall this weekend, and so I know that I think it's their third string quarterback starting. But Go Badgers. I mean the Hawks don't stand a chance. That Grunakuski guy or whatever sucks. He's literally worse than Deacon Hill. Statistically, he's had a worse start to his career at Iowa than Deacon Hill. So go Badgers. I won't touch on the Arizona State game. I'll leave that to you guys. But forks down.
Okay. One thing, I think both the Iowa State and CU and the ASU Utah be closer games because see, Utah's at 4,500 feet and ASU's only 1,100 feet. So Utah with the elevation helps them a lot. And CU's like 5,300 feet and Iowa State's not even 1,000. So both Iowa State and ASU could have difficulties with the elevation. It's tough to win up there. So that could help CU and Utah out. I don't know how much, but it could. But I can see both CU and Utah winning because of that.
Now, last week we saw Penn State struggle traveling all the way to Los Angeles to play UCLA, and we could very well see Michigan struggle as they go and face USC. I think this could be a trap game. This could be something that Michigan could be overlooking USC, who's kind of struggled a little bit this year. Lincoln Riley, he's just had trouble finding his footing there at USC without a star quarterback like Caleb Williams. And I think this could be a trap game. What do you guys say for the Trojans?
You want to go first, Alex?
All you on this one.
Okay. Well, USC's are they got one loss now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
And
believe
what's
so.
Michigan? What's Michigan doing?
Michigan has one loss to Oklahoma.
Yep.
Okay.
And that
Oh,
was early in the season too.
and what now?
That loss to Oklahoma was early in the season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the time zone thing, Penn State had trouble with it last week. I'll go with USC on that one, the home court net, because um, I think USC's got a good team. Michigan does too, but I'll go home field on that.
Now, this week, as I mentioned, there's a lot of great SEC matchups. Arkansas and Tennessee, I think, will be a good game. Florida, Texas A&M. Is Florida going to be able to do it again this time on the road? We'll have to find out. Georgia on the road at Auburn could be tough. Those SEC games, there's always kind of an upset lingering, so keep your eye on that one. And my upset pick of the week is South Carolina going into LSU and beating the 11th ranked team in the country. I think this is Lenore Sellers, his opportunity to shine this season. We saw it a bit last year down the stretch for the Gamecocks. I think this is his time to shine for LSU. That is my upset pick of the week. We got Alex's with Arizona beating BYU. Dad, you have an upset pick for week 7 of college football.
Well, is Alabama? I mean, is Florida underdogs to A&M?
Oh,
Yes. Big,
seven
big,
and a half point
yeah,
underdogs.
big underdog.
Big underdog.
Yeah.
Okay. And as Arkansas and Tennessee, is that in Knoxville?
That's in Knoxville. Yep.
Mm, I may go
11 and a
with.
half.
Okay. How about Georgia and Auburn?
It's in Jordan Hare, and Georgia's favored by 3.5.
Okay, Auburn. I'll go with Auburn. That'd be the upset pick.
We saw that however many years ago with that Nick Marshall pass. I remember we were watching it at the one restaurant in Tucson that we like going to, but a miracle at Jordan Hare could happen again. And before we wrap up on this college football season, any closing thoughts on anything you guys have seen? Dad, did you want to mention your bottom 25? Any teams that are surprising that they are in there, or any thoughts on your Kennesaw State squad?
Well, actually, I did want to show some love to the G5 as a whole rather than just bottom
Yeah.
25. Yeah, because some of those conferences I really show a lot of love to the American and they're all undefeated, the big three. But I was going to talk about the Sun Belt East a little bit. ODU and James Madison are really good out of Virginia there. They're the two best teams. They'll probably be duking it out for the Sun Belt title. They're tied for first in the East Division. They're really good. 4-1. So they're good. Conference USA, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech are the big guns there. Possibly play for the title there. Mountain West has got three really good teams. Fresno State, UNLV, and San Diego State looking really good. 4-1 or better, all of them. UNLV's undefeated. The Mid-American Buffalo and Western Michigan are probably the two teams there. And of course, the American with Navy, and you've got Memphis and North Texas all undefeated, and then USF and
Yeah.
Tulane are 4-1. So they got really Well, actually, Memphis is 6-0, but the others are 5-0. But they're all really good teams. There's five really good ones there in the Americans. So I wanted to show a little love to the G5 as a whole and see how those races shape up. Keep on top of those because people don't talk about them enough. But that's all I had about college ball, and I wanted to get involved in there. And the Bulls, U of A may have a chance to play SMU or Clemson in the Sun Bowl or UNLV in the LA Bowl, is what they're projecting. But that's all I had on college. But I want to at least get the G5 uh, leaders.
Alex, any closing thoughts for the college football landscape?
Yep. So if, sorry, not if, but when North Texas pulls off this upset against USF on Friday night under the lights, an emergency pod might be needed. North Texas would 100% be ranked after that win. I wish I could be in Denton for that because I know that Daku Stadium is going to be like a madhouse. Um, so other than that, I just wanted to say that I think as of right now, my dark horse to make the CFP, like out of all the teams that, like we normally don't talk about, things like that, I would probably have to say, I guess it's not really a dark horse, but probably a team that nobody expected is Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean
I think
Marcel Reed.
I think Texas A&M is going to win the SEC as of right now.
Wow.
That's not necessarily a dark horse, but that's kind of like my bold prediction as of today. Texas A&M to make the CFP and to win the SEC.
I love it. My bold prediction, I had one note that I'll get to after, but my bold prediction for the rest of the season, I think Notre Dame will go undefeated the rest of the way and make the CFP as a 10-2 non-conference champ in the college football playoff. And I did want to let the audience know that the last time North Texas was ranked in the AP poll was before Dad was born. It was in 1959. The Mean Green were 16th in that ranking. This was the first and only time they've been ranked in AP poll history. The Mean Green, they've only been ranked for 2 weeks in their history. So, I mean, if this would be a huge victory over South Florida. So, Den could burn to the ground very well this Friday night. Emergency pod will definitely be on the horizon if that happens. You heard it here first. Dad, any thoughts on that history that could be made, or your Kennesaw
Well,
State squad, or
Kennesaw State's still winning, and that's good. But the Memphis is the only ranked team that's the G5, and North Texas, I think, is getting other receiving votes. So if they do win, you are correct; they should be ranked.
USF is also ranked from the G5.
Who is?
USF.
Oh,
South Florida?
South Florida. Oh, okay, you're right. There's another one. That's right. So I'm glad to see the G5 getting some exposure on that. And yeah, I'd love to go to Denton too with you,
Yeah.
Alex. I'm with you on the same page. That would be huge. And if I didn't have stuff to do, I'd be on the next flight to Dallas,
Yeah.
and go to that game because
Uh,
we've got to get there someday.
Absolutely.
Green, I want to see the mean green.
I believe I saw on Reddit that this was the fastest selling out North Texas game in the history of the program.
If they win, it's a field storming guaranteed.
Yeah, that field goal post is going into whatever river is closest to Denton.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got one more thing. We got time
Yeah.
left, Justin.
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
do.
got a minute.
Okay, the of the top 10 college towns, Madison made it at number one,
Yeah.
and Tucson made it as number four. And I did some checking. I want to get a little plug for the academic side. Both the University of Wisconsin and the University of Arizona are public Ivies, which is
Yes,
pretty
they
cool.
are. They
So,
damn are.
yep. So they got they're one of the top college towns, and they're good schools academically too.
I'll take you guys to Madison. You guys take me to Tucson. We'll have a great time.
I guarantee it.
We'll have a pod when that happens. But until then, that's been college football week 6 reactions and week 7 look ahead here on the Rombough Show and Brotherhood Ballad. We'll be back shortly with an NFL pod coming soon. And until next time.